Good. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Marianne Graham, and I am the Housing and Compliance Director with the Money Follows the Person, a demonstration project at the Maryland Department of Health. And you are joining this morning's fourth session of the Property Manager, Case Manager annual meeting. And we thank you all for joining. Today, we are going to be having some information about a resident satisfaction survey that was conducted for the HUD 811 Project Rental Assistance Program and the Weinberg Apartments Program. And then we will also be having a tenant and case manager panel to discuss transition experiences. So just a little bit of housekeeping before we jump into the presentation. Please use the Q&A for any questions. We're asking that you hold questions until the end of each presentation. If you have any technical issues or are having difficulty hearing or anything like that, please put that information into the chat. This presentation is being recorded and it will be uploaded to Maryland Department of Disability's YouTube channel after the presentation, as will all of the previous sessions for this year's annual meeting. So you'll all be provided with a copy of the PowerPoint presentations at the end of the session that will get sent out after our presentations. So today I'm very pleased to have Christina Bolliard of the Maryland Department of Disabilities, and she is going to share the information about the resident satisfaction surveys that were conducted for the HUD 811 Project Rental Assistance Program and the Weinberg Affordable Apartments. Christina?
Thank you, Marianne. Good morning, everybody. So I'm just going to share my screen. Give me 1 second. Okay. All righty. So last year, as part of the funding that we received from the Department of Health for assistance with the Partnership for Affordable Housing, as that partnership goes, we wrote into our proposal that we would do a resident survey. And so last year, a survey was created to send out to the Section 811 and Weinberg participants for those programs. And we did a mailing. Everything went out back in October of 2020. It was sent out to around 240 residents, and that was at 29 properties throughout the state of Maryland. In the packet was the survey and a stamped envelope so that individuals could return the paperwork in the mail if they chose to. And for completing the survey, there was a $10 gift card that was returned, that was sent out to individuals once they completed the survey and returned it. The response rate was a little low, so it was about 33%. We received around 80 surveys back from participants. So this PowerPoint was actually created by the company that did the survey. So as you can see, and I don't know if anyone on the call, case manager wise, support planners, if you're familiar with the survey, if you were able to see it, or if any of your clients contacted you, but there were questions. And so based on those 80 surveys that were returned, you can see that, you know, the overall satisfaction of living in the apartment community that they're in, 58% was very satisfied. They would recommend the apartment community as a good place to live. So there was around 54%. Oh, 54 would not. Oh, I'm sorry. Look at that. I read that completely wrong. 54% definitely would not recommend the apartment community as a good place to live. And satisfaction with the apartment, 69% were very satisfied. Physical satisfaction with the physical condition of the building, 65%. So the only one that is a little concerning is the recommending the apartment community as a good place to live. That's a little high. As far as building maintenance and property management, there were questions where they were asking about access to the building is seen as less well-maintained than other features, and about 2/3 of the residents had very positive views of the property management. So as you can see, the common areas, 81% said that they were well-maintained. Sidewalks outside were 86% well-maintained. The grounds around the building, 83% were well-maintained, and the building access, so things like door locks, push button entry, things like that, 73% were well-maintained. So those numbers are pretty high. So that's a good sign. As far as satisfaction with property management staff, 64% were very satisfied. And the clarity of their communications, it was 69% was very clear with the property management. So those are good signs as far as being at the actual properties for those 80 residents that returned information. Communication with property management, sharing information, things like that. 3 out of 4 residents preferred that property management share information using a hard copy, letter, or flyer. And it looks like the most frequently requested communication was having something in large print. So helpful communication techniques, they were asked for large print, screen reader, digital audio recording, Braille. I would actually, I'll save that comment to the end. Hold on a second, we'll get through this PowerPoint. Accessibility. So for each of the 4 apartment features, about 1 in 5 residents do not feel their accessibility needs are being fully met. And those features were the physical layout, the accessibility in the kitchen. So for each 4 apartment features, 1 in 5, of 7 listed spaces, residents have the least confidence moving around outside at night and on the way to the nearest transit stop. So the apartment physical layout, about 79% of the individuals said it completely meets their needs. Accessibility in the kitchen, 86% met their needs. Let's see, accessibility in the bathroom, 83%, and apartment security features, 80% have completely met their needs. So not meeting their needs was relatively low in each of those categories. So that's a good sign. Confidence in moving around in certain spaces. And so what they have, moving around in your space in the apartment during the day was really high. So they were 89% felt pretty confident. Moving around in the apartment at night, 81% felt very confident. You can see that, common spaces during the day, common spaces at night. Let's see, outside building during the day, 80% felt confident. Obviously they're for the building at night, moving around outside. Well, 58% felt very confident. Somewhat confident was 25, 17% not at all. And on way to transit stop, roughly about the same numbers for how they felt about moving around at night, going to those places. Let's see. New resident experience. So how welcome they felt when they first moved in. And so 79% felt very welcome, which is a good sign. Satisfaction with training on use of apartment features and appliances, 62%. I'm actually surprised that it's sort of that high, just because during the pandemic, we weren't doing in-person tenant trainings. So it's interesting that the number, I think it's interesting that the number would be that high. But I also know that maybe individuals were thinking about maintenance and property managers coming into your unit to help with those types of things instead of the actual where we do tenant training and help out with those things. So it's good to know that most people felt very welcome. That's a good sign. Okay, oh, wait a minute. Did I go backwards? I did. Okay, here we go. Support services. So 78% of individuals felt that they were getting all the home and community-based support services that they need right now. And 69% said that they know how to get more or different services if they needed or wanted to. Residents currently receiving supports from the listed service systems. And so of the 80 residents that responded, 52% were receiving services from the Centers for Independent Living. 41% were receiving waiver services from the Developmental Disability Administration. And we have 32% coming in from behavioral health services and 23% from the Medicaid waivers, 22% from other Maryland state plan services, and 19% from the Maryland Department of Disabilities Attendant Care Program. So those are interesting numbers, percentage-wise. And then we have community life. So how much neighbors can count on each other when they need help? 29%, great deal, fair amount, 39%. Again, I think we need to take into account, remembering that this survey was sent, in the midst of a pandemic. So it's interesting that the numbers are still as high as they are. I think that that's a little interesting. Frequency of time spent with other residents, often 20%, sometimes 38% was pretty high. Frequency of time spent with family and friends who are not residents. So that often and sometimes 31%, rarely 30%. So I think that these are interesting numbers just because of the timing of the survey and how life was just a year ago. And then we have our conclusions. So overall, most of the residents felt pretty positive about the communities that they lived in. We are looking to try and do another survey and possibly ask some different questions based on the results that we received from this survey. So we're seeing if we can have better maintenance of certain property features. And enhanced communication efforts, additional information about supportive services, and promoting community life and resident trust. That was so. As I was going to say prior to ending, we are, as I was saying, we are trying to look and to do another survey to see if we could have possibly some different questions. And honestly, if anybody is interested in knowing certain things or have questions that they think we should include on the survey, if anybody wants to see the original survey that we actually sent out, we'd be more than happy to provide that. And if you have kind of feedback and maybe there's information that you would think that's interesting to know from the group of individuals that we're serving through the housing programs, we would definitely take those into consideration and put that into the survey to see if we can get feedback and see how things are going for individuals while they're now in the community and successfully housed.
Great, thank you so much, Christina. I actually did have one question, which was that slide that you showed that stated where the different services that participants were involved with, in the 52% through the sills. Was that was 52% of the 80 residents that responded, or was that of the overall 240 number of tenants that the survey was sent to? Do you know?
Just for the 80 that returned the survey.
Okay, great. And then there was a question in the chat. Catherine was asking, what was the date range that the surveys were collected?
I'll be honest, Catherine, I don't know. I can find out for you. I know that they started out going out in October, and I feel like sometime in the spring is when we started to get the results from the survey company that did all of the information. And I can definitely find out for you and let everybody know, kind of just in a group email, to let you know the time frame. I mean, obviously we were trying to give everybody enough time just because of the mail system. And individuals also, they did not have to mail back all of their results. They could call in and someone would help them answer the survey. We did have different options available for how the individuals could get things back to us in order to get that $10 gift card. But I will find out for you and let you know.
There was a question, which I think you kind of answered, but there was a question in the Q&A of how were the surveys collected, electronic, paper, or interviews?
All of those were options.
Thank you. Any other questions? And feel free to, after the next presentation, if you have more questions about this presentation, we certainly can answer those at that time. Okay. Thank you, Christina. All right, let me share my screen. Okay, sorry, Christina, it's telling me the host has disabled participant screen sharing. What can you?
I don't even what do I have to do? Enable?
I think you have to enable screen sharing for me or make me co-host or something like that so I can share my screen.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Thanks.
You're gonna be in charge of something, Marianne.
Uh-oh, watch out.
Okay, see if that lets you share your screen.
All right, yes, there we go. Okay, yay. Perfect. All right. Hopefully this will, okay, can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So again, good morning. I am Marianne Graham. I'm the Housing and Compliance Director for the Money Follows the Person demonstration project. And with me today is Lisa Waddell, who is our housing specialist. And we have put together a panel of tenants and case managers to talk about their transition experiences. But first, we're going to introduce ourselves a little bit more so you know exactly what it is that we do. So let me go to the next slide. Okay, so my role is to represent Money Follows the Person and the Maryland Department of Health within the Maryland Partnership for Affordable Housing, which is putting on this training today. I also do training and outreach, mostly to the supports planners who are involved in the home and community-based services waivers, but also to folks involved with EDA and folks involved with BHA, Behavioral Health Administration. I also, within the partnership, am responsible for the tenant issue process. So and we'll talk a little bit about that further on, but and we also do, which I forgot to put on this slide, but we also do tenant training. And Lisa, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lisa Waddell. Am I echoing?
Nope, I can hear you fine. I don't know if other people are having.
Okay. So I'm the housing specialist, and I basically am a little annoyance to the supports planners and case managers regarding transitioning participants into the community. And I support Marianne in everything that she does. That's basically what I do.
She very much does. Thank you. Okay, so All right, so
I am.
the Maryland Partnership for Affordable Housing programs are the HUD 811 Project Rental Assistance, also referred to as HUD 811 PRA, the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Foundation's Affordable Rental Housing Opportunities Initiative for People with Disabilities, or as we shorten it to call it Weinberg, the Money Follows the Person Bridge Subsidy program, and the Community Choice Homes. So in terms of eligibility for these programs, for the HUD 811 Project Rental Assistance, it's for individuals with disabilities between the ages of 18 to 61 at lease up, and they have to be receiving Medicaid and eligible for voluntary supportive services. And the waivers that are involved are the Community Pathways Waiver, the Community Options Waiver, Medical Daycare Waiver, or the Brain Injury Waiver. Folks can also be involved in the state plan, so on Community First Choice Program, or various behavioral health services, and the Community Personal Assistance Services Program. They can also have state-funded DDA services and be involved in Maryland Department of Disabilities Attendant Care Program. The Centers for Independent Living serve people who are Medicaid recipients, but don't necessarily have any of the other services, but need some case management assistance. And then people have to have a household income between 0 and 30% of the area median income. So that changes depending on what county or city that you're living in. And then there's a priority group for this program. So priority 1 is for people who are institutionalized. So people who are living in a nursing facility or a state residential center and trying to get back into the community. Priority group 2 are people at risk of institutionalization. So if they're living in situations that are detrimental to their health, that could put them at risk of having to go into a nursing facility or a state residential center, they are a priority to try to keep them out of going into institutionalization. And then priority group 3 are folks in DDA, brain injury and behavioral health participants who are transitioning from alternative living units or group homes, or CO waiver participants who are transitioning from an assisted living facility, or homeless persons as defined by the HEART Act. And right now, unfortunately, only people who meet one of those 4 priority groups can really get into the program. So it's not open to the general public at this point in time. For Weinberg, it's very similar. For individuals, again, with disabilities between the ages of 18 and 61. For Weinberg, they have to be applying for or receiving Supplemental Security Income, SSI, or Social Security Disability Income, SSDI. The household income has to be a maximum of 30% of the area median income, with a minimum income of 10%. So it's broken down depending on which round of funding. And we have received 3 rounds of funding for Weinberg, the most recent being fiscal year 19, although it was actually received in 2020. There are some priority groups for the Weinberg apartments. This is mostly pertaining to the most recent round of funding, and they're not in a particular order. But transitioning youth with intellectual and developmental disabilities between the ages of 18 and 35, who are living with aging caregivers, or living in a group home setting, or transitioning to permanent supportive housing. Individuals and families who are homeless, and youth aging out of foster care, who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. Okay. So for the Bridge Subsidy program, they must be eligible for the Money Follows a Person program. And so I didn't put the criteria up here, but basically to be eligible for money follows a person, you have to be in an institution or a state residential center for at least 60 days and have your stay covered at least one day by long-term care Medicaid. Or people have to be in the brain injury waiver, transitioning from an alternative living unit into the community. For the bridge subsidy program, people just have to be 18 and over, so there's no upper limit in terms of age. They have to have a household income of $19,000 or less and be transitioning from institutional settings to independent renting. And the way the bridge subsidy works is that the tenant pays 30% of their income toward rent and utilities, and rental subsidies up to the fair market rent is paid to the landlord. And this is all through the local public housing authority. And so the rental assistance is paid by the subsidy for up to 3 years. And then typically people will transition into a housing choice voucher, which is formerly known as Section 8. In some jurisdictions, mainly Montgomery County, they will transition into a project-based housing. So in Montgomery County, people transition from bridge subsidy into community choice homes. And then finally, community choice homes. Again, people have to be between the ages of 18 to 62 at the time of leasing. They have to live or work in Montgomery County or have lived or worked in Montgomery County within 5 years, and currently living in a group home or alternative living facility or other institution in another county. So they have to have income at or below 30% of the area median income, which includes SSI, and they have to have current registration on the Housing Opportunities Commission's, which is the public housing authority for Montgomery County, on their wait list. Okay. So some of the home and community-based services that folks in our programs are participating in are receiving things like personal assistance, nurse monitoring, where they have a nurse come to the home monthly or sometimes quarterly, depending on what they choose, to monitor and make sure that they're doing well in the setting. Supports planning or case management, as the case may be, so coordinating services. They can access home modifications if necessary, assistive technology, receiving home delivered meals, and folks who are living alone can receive their personal emergency response system, PERS. So like a medical alert that lets people know if they fall or something. They can receive consumer training, family training on just kind of how to live successfully in community, behavioral consultation, adult daycare. As I mentioned earlier, some people are eligible for the medical daycare waiver. If they can access services if they're living in an assisted living facility that has 4 or fewer, including the person, people living in it. So not one of the larger assisted living facilities. They can receive transition funds up to $3,000 to help get their new place set up. And they can receive non-emergency medical transportation. Okay, so I just wanted to go over the application process. Christina manages the wait list at MDOD, so I've got her contact information up there. But basically, and many of the case managers know this, but in case there's any folks from the property manager side of this, so you know how the process works from our side. People have to apply through socialserve.com. So, and in order to apply for these programs, you have to have a case manager. So individuals can't apply on their own. They have to have a case manager to assist them. Then MDOD screens and approves for the wait list or requests more information if that's needed. And then during the wait list period, that's when the case manager or the supports planner or whoever's working with the prospective tenant has to gather information and apply for various services and, get on the waiver if they're trying to do that, and address any barriers that might be in the way of somebody being able to live independently. So there's a period of time where you're kind of waiting to see if you're selected for a unit where all of that other stuff is kind of going on. And sometimes it could be happening at the same time. So it can, as supports planners know, it can be quite busy time. And then then the person might be notified of the unit, and then they have to go through another unit application process. So, as you can imagine, all of this can be quite overwhelming. So that's why it's important for there to be case management or people to assist to go through this process. And then if that the unit application is approved, then they will be offered to lease up and then move in. And of course, this chart makes it sound very easy and simple, but it is not, as we'll hear. Okay. And then I just wanted to put the tenant issue process up here so people would know what that is about. So basically, if there are any issues once the tenant has moved in, the property manager hopefully will contact the tenant to resolve any issues. But if there's issues with that process, or it can't be resolved simply, then the property manager can contact the case manager or supports planner or the staff that is working with the tenant to try to get assistance in resolving whatever situation is happening. So, if they're able to get in touch with the case manager or the supports planner, great. Then hopefully that person can assist the tenant to resolve the issue and, discuss whatever the concerns are, and figure out, a way, whether there needs to be extra services or something to help them to resolve the issue. If the property manager can't reach the case manager, then they can contact me. And my contact information is on this little chart, and you all will get a copy of this, so you'll have that. And then I will try to get in touch with the case manager or supports planner to offer technical assistance and coaching and just strategizing around how to address issues. As everyone knows, who's on this call, that there are sometimes complicated situations that occur. So kind of sometimes the more people that can put on their thinking cap to try to resolve issues, the better. And then I will bring all the parties back together. If for some reason property managers can't reach me, then they can reach out to Christina, and she will reach out to me. And we do have, as part of the Maryland Partnership for Affordable Housing, we do have like a little committee that meets pretty regularly to discuss any issues or concerns that come up with tenants. So that's our process. And of course, case managers can also reach out to me if they're having issues flowing in the opposite direction. Like if you're trying to get in touch with the property managers, and you're not having success to resolve an issue, that can also, we can be an avenue to assist with that as well. So we just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of this process. And like I said, you'll get a copy of this so that you'll be able to contact us if you need to. Okay. All right. So, and so the exciting part of today is that we have a number of tenants and case managers and professional folks who work with tenants who have agreed to discuss their situations and their experiences of transition with us. And in the interest of privacy, we just identified people by their initials, but people, can feel free to share their names if they would like to. But we're just gonna take a moment to have everybody have an opportunity to kind of talk about what their experience was in transitioning into the community. So, and it doesn't have to be in any particular order, although I do believe we had a request from Marjorie to go first. So I don't know if that's still the case, Marjorie and Steve, if you wanted to go first, or.
Yeah, we can definitely go first. My name is Marjorie, and I'm a support planner in Frederick and Washington County. And I'm here with Steve.
Everything's just fine. Good day.
Yep. So do you want Steve to go first, or do you?
Sure, that would be great. We did put up his story too, so people will have an opportunity to do that, but we'd love to hear from him directly. So
Well,
however you guys
thank you.
want to do it.
okay.
All right.
Steve moved here
Thank
to
you.
Willowbrook Apartments right when the country shut down. So your move-in date is actually going to be March 30th, right?
Well, we started around September,
Yeah.
right? And my actual move-in date was the 28th of April.
Mhm.
My rent wasn't due till the 1st of May, so the manager said they let that go, right, and let me catch up, but then I still had the problem with the social security check going to the bank account at the nursing home to a
Yeah.
bank down in Texas.
Yeah. Well,
My next 2 checks went there, so I finally got that resolved, because we had to go through a 3-way. Between me, the social security director, and the nursing home finance director, just to try and get a stupid little checking account.
mhm. Yeah. It's
She didn't want to give it up. He couldn't get it, and I didn't know. So
I think, I mean, just with COVID and how things had shut down, it was really challenging to get out there and get this,
It was
you can't go to the
frustrating.
nursing home right now. So it's
Marjorie managed to keep me in check many times. I was ready to go off, chop somebody's head off.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was.
It was a challenge.
I was like Jack Nicholson, which is these, I was like, yeah, arms waving, foot stomping. I was ready to punch a wall.
He didn't do any of that though. He was,
I was kept saying something so simple,
yeah.
it's so complicated, it's pathetic.
Yeah.
Just do your job.
Yeah.
That's all. Just do your job. So simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can
So,
imagine it was
I think once the
frustrating.
nurse- Yeah. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that, it was COVID related, with the nursing home and shutting down. So.
Yeah, well,
it's
between
been-
you and a couple of nurses at the nursing home, they managed to keep me in check. But since moving here over 1 year ago, my mood's a lot better, my blood pressure's down a little bit, my anxiety is relieved.
This has been a healthy transition.
I'm not taking as many meds now because my depression is more tolerable. I'm not stuck in one little room, I mean, it's like.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of like being a prisoner within a prison. I mean, you're only allowed out this time, that time, this time, and you can't do what you want to do. You can't go where you want to go. And then the pandemic hit, right? And that threw everything in a different frying pan, so to speak. I mean, I was just more like jumping from one precarious situation to another, and then trying to get out of the nursing home was a whole new situation. Because I know it was an experience for Marty. Because the loops and hoops and hurdles and stuff she had to go through. And I've been asking her many a times, how do you manage to stay so calm? You know, going through all of that, you know, just God, this woman had to backtrack everything she already did. Twice. I'm going like, how much more can you go through? You know, and then me being anxious, you know, and wanting to get out of there so bad because they were getting the medications they needed. They weren't getting the treatment they needed. Therapy. I mean, doing this for 15 minutes, how's that going to help my knee?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm just walking around, so all you're doing is something but panic a paycheck. You know, just finding something for me to do. So, since moving here, I feel a lot better. The only thing is socially, it's challenging. Transportation's a small problem, but the church, the library, you know, all those things that I want to do outside of here due to the pandemic, right? You know, you're only limited. You got limited resources, limited transportation. So I can with what I got, and I've got the nurses helping me. I'm getting everything I need done. I'm doing what I'm planning, but it's like I was telling Marjorie, it's slow though because limited resources, limited transportation. Hopefully by next spring I'll be going to Frederick Community College for electrical engineering. Hopefully, so that'll be an
That's wonderful.
experience for me. Go back to
That's
school
great.
3 years later. You know, I did take a course as a home study course from Washington, D.C. back in 1990 something, whatever. I passed it with honors. I did a 1.5 course in less than a year. I passed it with honors. I wanted to just go redo the thing, just to get the exhilaration and experience of learning something new, you know, and how you can apply stuff. You know, when you learn something right, you try to sit back and think, right, okay, how do I apply this to my life now? That's the same way I do with my Bible study. I read a bit of my Bible, right? And I'm thinking, it's okay, what have I done that may have caused me for this to happen or feel this way, or it's not my problem that somebody's mad at me. It's their problem. I keep thinking it's my problem. I keep thinking it's something I did, something I said, but it's not. It's not my attitude that's wrong. It's their attitude that's wrong. They're the one that's got the problem. So I keep thinking that way, right? It's okay, I'll just think of you as being more or less the phone being disconnected. There's no communication. Right? Okay, you don't want to talk to me because you're upset. I can't talk to you because you're making me feel bad, and that's not right. So I'll just walk away for a little while, come back a little while later and say, hey, you want to deal with this?
Yeah.
And we'll take it from there. So whatever I do, think, or feel, or experience, I try to apply
What you learned.
into today's situation.
I gotta say, you know, the transition was really challenging right at the start of pandemic, but without Steve's determination, and he advocated for himself consistently, and you were determined and motivated. It was one of the reasons why it was the most successful transition. I mean, it was challenging to get all the pieces coordinated. There was a lot of things that I might have done differently, like the housing piece. When you get the email from Christina, you're like, an apartment is available. Let's take it. You know, we want to get out. We want to get out of the nursing home. But like Steve said, socially, it probably wasn't a good, you know, he's super social and he wants to be around individuals his age and he wants to be a part of a community. We got him out of the nursing facility, but we're missing that one piece. So that's kind of something that I might take into consideration next time. Oh, that's your phone.
I think that's my phone.
And then
Unfortunately, the phone don't work.
so yeah, I mean that's just something I would take into consideration the next time that I'm transitioning someone out of the facility.
Okay, that certainly makes a lot of sense. In terms of what you're doing now for social experience, Steve, what do you do? You said you go to church and to the library. Did I hear that correctly?
What do you do to get out socially?
Huh?
What do you do to get your social interaction?
My social interaction.
Yeah.
I've got a few friends. Like, okay, I was the nurses from A-Bus, right? We get along great. We're like, I think of the female as my sister. I think the driver male as my brother, right? We talk about everything and anything. We share past experiences. With Joyce, my daycare nurse, I do cooking, right? And here's the joke. You're gonna love this. When I cook, right, I make stuff up, right, and I have her try it, right? I don't want to. I said, what's the matter? It's not black people food. So, I mean, you know, it's like we try to kid around a lot. You know, she brings stuff over for me to try. I give stuff for her to try. And like, I don't know, I'm just thinking like it's like we just one brother, sister family.
Do you
And I like that.
do you get out to church at all?
Huh?
Do you get to church at all?
The what?
Church. You go to church?
Church?
You get to your church?
I do the church. Right. Due to the pandemic, right? And the transportation on Sunday problem, right? Live church, no, but I do church online. I go through All Saints and St. John's Episcopal. They do it online. That's how I do my church thing. As far as the correspondence, mail in Bible study thing, due to the pandemic thing, right? I think that's suspended for the time being now, because I haven't gotten anything in like the past 2-3 months. But nevertheless, get back into that. Now that I got the taxi access from Frederick County Transit. Okay, I got that now. Now I might be able to go actually to the church physically. So I want to try that maybe next week. I want to church up first to see if I have to be put on a list of attendees. Because I don't know if we still have a limit amount of people in the church. The church is not even doing the outdoor service. I don't know if they're still doing it that way or they're not doing the indoor service. But I got it out.
Okay.
That school for 8 years. Everything, and then I completed the Mount Hope Missionary Bible Study twice. That's the thing. I got the certificate for that, all 8 of them. Other than that, I'm just fine with everything. I'm just a little anxious, want to try to get to the church in person, so I'm kind of more hoping to be an indoor thing rather than an outdoor thing, but I'll accept it either way. So I'm going to check into that come maybe Monday.
Okay. Well, I'm so glad that you have transportation now that you can get around. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, because see, I used to go when I was in the motel for 2 years. I used to go to a place at St. John's Episcopal Church called CORE. That's Community Organized Recovery Effort. That's where the recovering alcoholics and drug addicts, right, they go get resources on mental health, physical hygiene, relapse procedures, relapse strategy. Talk about that. They do a psychologist thing, a dietitian thing. You got an exercise class. It starts like 8:30 in the morning and ends at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's an all-day thing, and it's basically free for all those that are going through alcohol or drug rehab. And they can get the resources and the help and the information they need to stay well. I enjoy doing that. But everything else is going fine and great. And I appreciate all your guys' help. And these programs are wonderful. You guys are, I mean, how you guys put these things together is phenomenal. Because I mean, you got like a think tank thing, right? That you guys got 100 people sitting around thinking of all these questions. And you're putting it all in one little package. And you're making it all so simple for us to understand. You know, and your outreach is, wow. I can't even come up with a word for it. The outreach is so widespread, so caring. That's about all I can say about that. You know, I mean, it's wonderful. I mean,
Well, thank you.
how another human being to care about another human being so much that they're willing to go out of their way to help. You know, I mean, that's not really that often in this type of world, I would think. You know, take a look at all the veteran homeless people out there. I mean, Jesus. I mean, all the programs out there, right? You know, just reach out that hand. That's simple, but it's kind of hard to do now.
It can be, but I'm so glad that the program is working out well for you. So that is really wonderful. And thank you for sharing your story with us. Is there anything else that you would like people to know?
Here,
What?
for Steve, you want them to know anything else? Is there anything else you want to share?
Only thing I could come up with the last one, thank you, and God bless us.
Thank you.
I mean, really, I mean, you guys are phenomenal. I mean, it's so wonderful that to have you guys around to access to so many things. All you got to do is just ask. I thank you. Out of my heart.
Well, we want to thank you for, agreeing to share your thoughts and your story with us. And I'm so glad that things are working out, for you there. So wonderful. Marjorie, do you have anything else that you wanted to share from the case manager, supports planner perspective?
I mean, it is such a challenging process to transition individuals from the nursing facility, and I do feel a ton of support from MDH, especially Lisa. I know you were emailing me back and forth during this whole process with Steve, and going through it the first time with the bridge subsidy. I had never done the bridge before, and just all the questions and I had for Steve, and just trying to get everything done and organized. It's like Christmas Day. I mean, everything has to be done all on one day, but there's so much preparation for it. So all the coordinating that goes into it is a real challenge. And I'm so happy when it happens successfully, like it has for Steve, because he's been out now almost 2 years and out of the nursing home, and he's had a successful transition as far as no repeat visits to the hospital, and his caregivers have been great. Yeah, I know there's a lot that goes in on your end too, but you know, it's a difficult process, but it's definitely rewarding.
Wonderful. And actually, you guys,
Okay,
you guys
thank
have the
you.
most difficult part. So I will say that. I
There's a
mean,
lot of
we're kind of,
tears.
yeah. So we definitely
Thank you very much.
thank
God
you.
bless you all.
All right,
you.
wonderful. So we have some other panelists, and we didn't talk about what order people were going to go in. So I guess whoever is on that feels comfortable going next.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, this
Hi.
is Denise Lopez with the Coordinating Center. How are you?
Hi, Denise. I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm on the phone, my line with EL.
Okay. Wonderful.
She did say that she doesn't mind her name being said. So Miss Lee, are you there?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Okay. All right, Miss Lee, she actually transitioned to the nursing facility. From the nursing facility to the community in 2020. She was a great candidate for the program 811 because thanks to Miss Lee, she would always give me all of her documents on time. So therefore, that made it easy to do the transition as far as her documentation. Miss Lee?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to discuss with everyone about your participation with the program?
Yes. Good morning, first of all, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
I was thinking about the program and what it looks like to me as a recipient. There are so many little pieces, and I've heard you all talking this morning, and so many things that go together to have this program that it makes sense to a person like me. And I think that the most important thing about this program are you all who do the planning, and I'll tell you why. We sit in nursing facilities after having strokes and other illnesses, and we have a planner who comes to us and presents after nursing says that we can be discharged or that we're capable of living with some assistance or living on our own in the community. And the planner comes and begins to talk to us, to tell us what we are eligible for or what we can do. And so then we become, we're excited and all of these other things, but it's almost as if we're going into a strange country. And I want this to be understood, if nothing else is, we're going into a strange country, and the person who is taking us into this strange country is our support person. That's our lifeline. You know, we may get to an apartment and the windows are not right, or the sink is not what we wanted it to be, or something else is wrong with the process and we can't move forward. But our support person becomes the most important person in our lives. If something is wrong, and it's wrong with the apartment or wrong with the process or anything, I call my support planner who wades through all of these things I heard you talking about, who kind of makes the path, get me from where I am to where I'm going.
I
And that is the important thing for me.
I will say, Ms. Lee, I have transitioned several people out of the nursing facility to the community with the 811 program. So I'm very familiar with the process. One of the things that I say that I would have done differently is, sometimes we don't keep in mind all of the visitors that our clients may have because of their disabilities. They have providers, caregivers, nurses, and other people that come visit them. When they come visit them, it's for a period of time. So one of the things that I would definitely do moving forward and that I would have done different is to make sure that I keep in mind the people that come visit our clients because of the parking that they may need to assist our clients. And sometimes the parking can be an issue, or even the environment of where the building is located or where the client may be living may be an issue for their providers to get to them. So that's one of the things that I would definitely would have done different with her case. One of the things that I would say that I would like property managers to keep in mind is that we're dealing with people with disability. Housing is a process. Therefore, when lease signing comes, it may not be able to be done when the property manager is ready because our clients have health and complex needs that sometimes may get in the barrier of timing. Ms. Lee, what was the hardest part of transitioning from the nursing facility into the community?
Trying to, for me, it was trying to get let me just say, I've had 4 strokes, and trying to make sense of something that's probably as simple as the senior building, and I live by myself, and I cook and do all of these things for myself, and the simplest thing that a person like I'll use you all for example, that you're able to do in your apartment, I was not able to, maybe the height of the stove, which sounds kind of silly, but it's for me it's important. The height of the stove, the sink, the being able to get into the shower, how that the buildings are for seniors, but not necessarily for seniors with handicaps, all of those kinds of things. So that was the most difficult thing for me.
Ms. Lee, what was it like to get used to living independently in the community from the nursing facility to now living independently?
Very different. In the nursing facility, you're almost like a baby in a sense, but you have people who help you do things like take care of your medical needs and take care of your physical needs and everything. You have someone to do that. And when you go into the community, you have these people who are there to help you, but they're not there constantly. So when something happens, there's a very present fear of you having to at least find someone, let's say for instance, 11 o'clock at night, nursing home, if something 11 o'clock happens, you push the button. When you're in the community, you have to wait until the morning hours come, or wait so you are able to access someone.
Okay.
So it's not particularly what it maybe that you all would want to hear, but a lot of this has to do with access to your support plan. That seems unsurmountable because of our condition. When we are able to reach our support planner, it's like going from darkness to dawn. That's just the way that it is for us. You know, it's the way that it is to put all these pieces together. And I'm getting ready to go somewhere. That's why my voice is like it is. I'm riding in my chair, but I still want to say this. Out of all of the pieces that you all have and all of the things that you have put together, if the support planner is not conscientious, and it won't work. It just wouldn't work. And this only works because you have someone who is attentive to whatever needs we have. There are things, let me just say very quickly, there's some things that Ms. Lopez did and put together for me that you don't even realize. I'm a stroke patient, that you need until you need them. And then, and for someone who can manage themselves and move back and forward like you all can, is completely opposite from what I'm able to do from my position from a wheelchair. Completely opposite. And so if I don't have a support planner who I can call, that's who I call first. That's my first call. If I don't have a support planner, then I am not able to access all of the things that you all have for me and for the community. The community for me is represented at this point by my relationship, my working relationship with my support planner. That's what community means.
Mhm.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Lisa?
Yeah, that's a really good point, you know, that what a vital link that is. Anything else that either Miss Lee or Miss Lopez, either that you wanted to say or close out with?
I will say, like I mentioned before, you know, Miss Lee made this process extremely easy because of her always being on top of the documentation. As we all know, 811, there's a lot of documentation components that come for our clients to transition to the community. So, Miss Lee, I want to say thank you because still we work together and I still help you out and I'm always going to be here for you moving forward, anything you need in help. Miss Lee also just recently moved to a new unit where now she's able to access her providers are able to access her better and they're able to tend to her with the space where she's living at now and the parking is better. So I just want to say that, you know, I'm grateful that I was able to assist her so that now she's able to live in the community successfully.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm really glad that move happened because I think we did tenant training with you all and that hadn't happened yet. So I'm glad that it worked out. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. You're welcome.
All right. Okay. Who would like to go next in our panel? No. We have do we have Mr. S on the line? The other Mr. S? The younger Mr. S? And Kelvin?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi.
Isaiah? Like he's mute.
Oh,
I'm gonna text him. Yeah, did you unmute him?
I heard something, but it's not quite, not quite coming through.
See if it works now.
Okay. Can he say something?
Did he say something?
I didn't hear anything.
In Chocolate.
Oh, there you
Okay,
go.
now I hear you. I see you. Okay. So Isaiah, would you like to share what your experience with transition was like?
The first, the treating like that nursing home like it was a jail. You hear me?
Yeah. They,
Yes,
they
we
heard
And
can
I
hear
ain't
you.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't like that. They call me names. They call me out my names. So I call them out my names. Cause I don't like them. I don't like nobody call my name out my name. I don't play that, man.
Okay.
And then
Mm-hmm.
it was like a sandbox. It was like a jail, like a sandbox
Mm-hmm. And how long were you in the nursing facility?
for 2 years.
Wow. That's a
It's
long
like
time to
jail.
feel like you're in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the reason why I got out of there, cause
Mhm.
the reason why I got in there, cause I just had a disagreement with my mother,
Yeah.
and then they put me in PG Plaza, in PG Hospital, and then I asked for rehab, right? But they stopped giving me rehab, and then the food tastes like garbage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got my I got then they put Sergio on there. Sergio, the Sergio, who was cool. Sergio, the Spanish guy Sergio.
So
Remember him?
yeah.
And then I'm talking, and then Pam came in, and then she said getting on my nerves. So I said nah.
I
She said, I said, man, I had a phone bill to pay, right?
Isaiah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Isaiah, uh, he was in the nursing facility for like 2 years. He actually when he got to sign the lease, it was like 2 weeks before everything was going to be closed down for the pandemic, and so it was a lot of delays with trying to get his DDA staff and everything together so he can actually move into the apartment. So it was, and then by with people being in isolation, I wasn't able to come see him every other week. So it got it was a pretty frustration. He got pretty frustrated with the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But all of us worked together. That's one thing I wish maybe we could have did sooner with the suggestions of my executive director, sir, where we had weekly team meetings to see what everybody was doing, and also, make sure Isaiah knew what he was, what was going on, because a lot of the frustration he had with the facility is part because of the way the facility was. It's correct what Isaiah said, but however, Isaiah just didn't know what was going on, and I was meeting with him weekly, and everything was still pieced together. So, but when we came together and start meeting, weekly with our team meetings, everything started to roll. And right now he's doing great in the community.
Wonderful. So Isaiah, since you've moved into your apartment, how have things gone in terms of you being in the apartment and in your community? Do you like it?
Yeah, I like it. have to worry about nobody clean. I have to worry about nobody waiting to be changed. No, nothing. I can call them, ask them to use the bathroom. I don't have to use. See, I don't have to people. But the food is better. The food is better. I like the apartment. It's groomed well. It's groomed well. Groomed very
Wonderful.
well.
Okay, that's great. If there was anything that you could do differently about how you transitioned, what would it be?
Um, anything.
Yeah, if things could have been better, what would it have been like?
I really don't know.
Kelvin, from your
Therapy.
experience with it, what would
Therapy.
you?
Therapy.
Go ahead, Isaiah.
Therapy.
Okay,
Therapy. Therapy.
while you were in the nursing facility?
Yeah.
Okay.
They stopped giving me therapy.
Ah, okay. And now you feel like you're getting all the services that you need?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to share with the group?
Yeah. Yeah. I really thank you. I really thank you guys for helping me, man. They helped me with all these things. They let me go outside and my business, you know what I'm saying? So I really thank them for help me go outside and shop for groceries and shop for clothes.
Like the clothes thing, right? Like shopping for the clothes. I'm on my way to the mall. buy some nice clothes too. Looks good.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. Well, I'm glad that it worked out, and I came into that situation late, but just to share with that piece, I agree with Kelvin that if we had been able to meet more frequently earlier, that would have maybe moved the transition up quite a bit. So yeah. Thank you all for sharing.
No problem.
Okay. All right. And is Miss Essendo on the line?
We're trying to get her back right now.
Oh, okay. All right. What about Miss C?
This should be done with me. Trying to get other people to go online.
All right. While they're trying to get Miss E, is Miss C around, or J? Let me check and see if they're on the line.
We have Miss E on the phone if
Oh, great. Okay.
perfect. So
And thank you, Nina. If you want to introduce yourself, and if you want to introduce Miss E too, that would be great.
my name is Nina. I'm a supports planner at Independence Now. And I worked with Miss E on her transition to an 811 unit in May of 2019. So a little bit different because it wasn't during the pandemic. Probably a little bit easier in that regard. And I have her on speakerphone. So I'm hoping that both she can hear you guys and that you guys can hear her.
Okay, all right. Well, hopefully she'll be able to hear us. So if Miss E, if you would like to just share what your transition was like.
Okay.
Oh, we can hear her very clearly. That's great.
Oh, yeah. With me, I've lived independently, so moving out was my greatest goal from the nursing home. So I never had any issue living independently, but I give much credit to my support planner. She helped me a lot in transitioning to where I am now, and she's still doing that.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. So, is there anything that you wish that you had known prior to transition that you know now that would have made it easier for you?
No, all I wanted was to leave the institution.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that would just get me out of my goal. So I'm okay. No, there's nothing that I would wish would be different.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Working with Missy was definitely pretty easy because one of her main goal was to just get out of the nursing facility. So it wasn't so much about particulars about the apartment. It was like the second something came available, it was, let's go, let's do this, let's get out. And so I think everything happened relatively quickly, which I know is not the case with everybody. But Missy being such a young person in a nursing facility, I think that motivation was just there to get out and get back to living life out in the community. So working with her was such a pleasure. She always was on top of everything. I would go and see her at the facility and we'd have all this paperwork and she'd be like, yes, I do have that medical record from 2017 or 2018. And she would like go into her backpack and there was like a folder and she'd be like, flipping through everything. So, I'm very grateful for that because she was my first transition into the community. So
Okay.
that was definitely a good person to have as my first transition, particularly since she has been so successful. It's not many people who get out with the home and community-based options waiver. She had however many hours she had going out of the facility, and she's actually been able to decrease the amount of hours, personal assistance hours that she uses. So that means more independent,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. And that's really our goal, to help people.
Wonderful, wonderful. Miss E, how easy was it to get used to living independently again after being in the nursing facility? And, in terms of, just socially and everything. I know things have been a little strange because of the pandemic, but.
Well, luckily for me, the housing that I had all the disability modification that will help me live independently. And I have friends that helps a lot too. They come to pick me up to go to places. And I think that is also my support. Yeah, that's something I also helped me to live independently. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And is there anything, and this question is for both of you, is there anything that you would want property managers to know in terms of, what you'd like to see in units, or what kind of things would make things easier for the transition to happen?
Nina, anything?
I think for me at least, it's that while units may be as accessible as they can be from like the builder's perspective, that there's probably always something that can be done to make something more accessible. And part of the Medicaid waiver programs are adaptations that are paid for through Medicaid. And so what I've found is in requesting those accommodations, sometimes there are delays because the sort of chain of approval is unclear on sort of the property manager side, and then it's sort of going back and forth. And so I think just knowing that most likely you'll get a request from the supports planner for a letter saying that you're okay with those adaptations, and just be prepared for that. Sometimes there are some pretty odd requests, I imagine. But, you know, and then also just keeping lines of communication open. No question is stupid. Nobody knows anything, everything. And I think, you know, being able to communicate and knowing that the supports planners are there to support the person. And so any question that the property manager has is, you know, it's not too small to ask a supports planner.
Okay, great. Anything else that you guys would like to share or that we didn't touch on?
Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank you, you know, for participating and agreeing to share your experiences, because I think it, you know, it really helps to bring everything into clarity for those of us who maybe haven't experienced it, or, you know, so I really appreciate you being willing to share your experiences.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you, and I'd like to thank the program too. Like, the program helps a lot
Oh, good.
of the person, of the consumer, because all these things are there to support, and I think it's great.
Well, thank you. And, you know, no program is complete without having, you know, people who need the program. So we're just glad, you know, that we can be here and be available. Okay, we had one more person, but I'm not sure that they're on the line. Miss C.
Yeah, so Miss Jai
J.
is on the call, but
Oh, okay.
we're trying to unmute her.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Lisa.
No problem.
I don't see anybody that's left that needs to be unmuted. Is there a phone number that isn't unmuted?
Lisa, you're muted if you're talking.
It seems like Miss J should be unmuted, the 240-603-2411. Is that unmuted, Christina?
Yep, that's unmuted.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, now we can.
I was like, hello, hello, hello.
We've been emailing back and forth and everything, so.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Well, I'm glad we
Hi.
finally got to hear your voice.
I know. I'm sorry. I was like, hello, hello. Okay.
It's okay. Technical difficulties kind of come along with these meetings, unfortunately. Do you have Miss C on with you, or are you just logging in?
I have her sister. Her phone is going straight to voicemail this morning. I tried and the sister tried, and we're not able to reach her, but the sister was with me throughout the whole entire process when I was trying to move Miss C out. So she was there, front row, with everything.
All right. Well, do you all want to share, you know, the experience of transitioning Miss C? and what that was like for you?
Very clear, you all.
Yes, Ms. Laura, you want to go ahead first?
Yes, I can barely hear, but here we go. Yes.
There's a little bit of an
That's
echo.
really
I'm sorry. Can you hear better now?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not quite sure how to start here, but I just want to know that the program was extremely wonderful for my sister. You know, first of all, I really am so happy to have Jay, and we worked so well together to get her out of the nursing home. And she, right now, she's very pleased and very happy to be able to come out of the nursing home. She went through surgery, matter of fact, about 5 surgeries at one time. And she was in ICU for a while, and so she made it through with therapy and everything. But when I got a hold of the program, and y'all just worked wonderful. I mean, everything that y'all did from the beginning to the end. She got the place that she needed, the service that she needs. I mean, I couldn't ask. I don't think anything could have been done differently than how it was done. Everything was done pleasantly. She's happy. She's able to walk again, you know, too. And I have to say that Jay, she also, any services that she needed, she was able to get. And I can't say quite enough about it. We talk a lot, my sister and I talk a lot. I am one who takes care of family, and she's going on 80 years old. But everything so far, I can't quite say enough. You know, it was, y'all are such wonderful. That's all I can say. You have to forgive me. I have a mask on if I sound a little muffled. But
No. We can hear you very clearly. Thank you so much. That's so wonderful.
Everything. I mean, everything just went like clockwork. Everything. And like I said, I am just so pleased to have had Jay because, wow, I just feel that she made everything happen for her. You know, I mean, you all made everything happen for her. Sure. And wow, that's all I can say. I had no idea that we had this type of service. So I just can't say enough. Everything is wonderful for her. Absolutely wonderful. You know,
Great.
she
Well,
was
I'm
in a
so glad.
situation. Yes.
Yeah, I'm so glad it's been a good experience for you. Can I ask, how did you first learn about, you know, that your sister was eligible for these services? Was she already working with Jay and you kind of found out after, or were you kind of with her in the beginning and trying to get services?
Well, in the beginning I did, because when she was in ICU and there were people that came out to the nursing home and was offering services, because that's how it really happened. It happened where the nursing home contacted me, and then you all came out to the nursing home, and that's how we followed through after that. Yeah, that's how that happened.
Okay,
And
great.
then we did some paperwork, we filled out paperwork and everything like that. And they making sure that she had that she had proper services when she did come out. So everything just flowed well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Was there anything that you would like property managers or property developers to know about transitioning and what it takes to move somebody from a facility into the community?
Well, I guess the only thing at that particular time was For me, I live an hour away from my sister, and we just had a complication of making sure that we could get all of what she had accumulated in the nursing home. But that's okay. It worked out well. You know, I was able to get another family member to get, they were wonderful. First of all, they got all their things stored and stocked away on the day of moving, and I was able to get a nephew to get her where she needed to go. I just wish that they had something like that was able to do, you know, for her transition. But it still worked out for us. You know, there was no complaints.
Okay, wonderful. And Jay, would how about for you in terms of, you know, coordinating and everything? Is there anything that you wish that you had either been able to do differently, or things that went particularly well?
You know what? There's for me, Jay. Oh, that's something for you, Jay.
Yeah.
It could be
I
for both of you, but I did ask Jay first.
Personally, no, because I feel like Miss P and Miss Laura were like hands-on with everything. So like if I had issues with getting a certain kind of documents because the property managers needed it right away, Miss Laura was definitely like stepping up, helping. And Miss P was very much involved in her transition. Like she's a sweetheart, and I know she wanted to get out. So it was like, whatever you need, I'll get it. So we had a lot of back and forth, a lot of meetings. So I think like as far as the property managers go, just having that thought of, you know, these individuals are in the nursing home and there's a lot of documents that they do not have right away and they need to actually like try to get, that might take a couple of days to get. So I guess just putting that into consideration. But overall, like I said, Ms. Laura I think she helped make the transition a lot smoother because I would have struggled a lot if I didn't have her in my corner to help as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, we worked well together. Yeah.
That's really great to hear. And I think, you know, it does highlight the importance of both like the formal as well as informal support and family support. And, you know, that's something that we talk about sometimes when we do training for Housing 101 and tenant training for the success of people in the community, is to have that support wrapped around them. So I'm glad that that worked out for you all. Anything else that you wanted to share about your transition experience?
None. I mean, none. None. Everything. I cannot complain about one single thing, really. You know, I'll say it again. I think Jay, I'll say it over and over again, is a wonderful person, and she just helped us so much. Helped make things happen. I can't say nothing, no different than that.
Well, thank you.
That is so nice.
I don't want you to go nowhere. I don't want her to go nowhere. I'm down.
All right. That's a ringing endorsement. And so it's so wonderful to hear, you know, all of that. And I think again, it highlights how important it is to have that relationship and kind of you know, that rapport to make these transitions happen. So thank you all. And thank you to all of our panelists. And I just does anybody have anything they want to say before we begin to wrap up that we didn't touch on? Okay, I'm going to take that as a no. We did have one person who agreed to do a written statement, but did not feel comfortable speaking. And that is Mr. K. So I'm just going to forward, through that. That's a picture of Mr. Szynski and his story. So this will be part of the PowerPoint that you all can read. So Mr. K, this is someone who had also transitioned, and he was not comfortable speaking in front of the group, but wanted to share his statement. So we greatly appreciate that. So basically, he had said that he had never lived independently, and that his first experience signing a lease was with the HUD 811 Project Rental Assistance Program. And he was 43 years old at the time that he did that. And he had lived transiently for several years and staying with friends or family, or actually actively homeless on the street before being admitted to a nursing facility where he was for 2.5 years. And and this was a quote, what he said, it took what seemed like forever to finally have his own place. And he wanted to thank his supports planner, who, you know, realized he needed housing and helped him to apply for the program. And she was there for him at every turn, to the point of even helping him sign his lease and physically transitioning into his new home. So one of the things that he noted was that he loves his new place, and his sense of independence and kind of being out in the community. But it was a little difficult to transition to from the nursing facility into being in on his own. So that was the most difficult part of going to independent living. There was, you know, he said he felt nervous and insecure about living independently, and he was concerned about not having a structured living environment after spending 2.5 years in a very structured environment with quote unquote no real worries. But now that he's been there for a little while, he feels that he is really structured his days and is enjoying meeting his neighbors and developing friendships. So, you know, he stated he's extremely grateful for his new apartment, and he reported moving into a brand new unit that was designed for a person with disabilities, that came equipped with grab bars where he needed them, and that he was able to maneuver around his the floor and his furniture, and that he feels his staff is extremely helpful and supportive to him. So, you know, he loves his unit and believes that leaving the nursing facility to go into his own home has significantly improved his quality of life, and he plans to stay there as long as he is able. So, and I'll just ask Lisa, is there any other thing? Because I know you actually talked to Mr. K. So is there anything that I left off?
No, but what I would like to say is thank you to all of the panelists. I reached out to every one of these supports planners, and each one quickly volunteered to participate. Ms. Russell was the first person I reached out to. She was more than happy to participate, and she actually helped me with the technical assistance for Ms. E, because I tried to have her online as well. And even the participants were excited to share their stories and express how grateful they are for this program. And actually speaking to them independently, aside from doing the tenant training, I personally had an epiphany of how great these housing programs are for people to get back into independent living and to start their lives new. And I really do appreciate our housing programs and the fact that I have the ability to actually help the little bit I do help people transition into the community. And I really do give kudos to all of the supports planners, because I know you guys have a lot to do and all the paperwork is sometimes repetitive, but you guys are able to get it done. And we've heard firsthand how important having a great supports planner is to people transitioning into the community. So thank you all for participating. I really do appreciate it. As I expressed to y'all every time I spoke to you on the phone or emailed you. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you, Lisa.
Hey, Mary, and can I say one thing?
Sure.
Please, is Marjorie still on the phone? I don't know if Marjorie's still on
I'm
the
not sure if she is, because I know she needed to, I think she had another commitment a little bit later. That's why they went first.
Because I think she at one time had been working with Mr. K as well. And if I'm not mistaken, one of the things that I didn't hear from any of the support planners, I don't know if this was actually a situation they encountered, is having individuals move from one county to another. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that that was the situation for Mr. K, that he was in a nursing facility in one county and ended up moving to an entirely different county, which had its own barriers because of having to change support planners during that transition, because he had a support planner in one county, but then moving to another county, there had to be a handoff to another support planner. So I don't know if that happened to anyone else that had spoken today. So I that is one piece that I didn't hear mentioned today that I know becomes that plays a big part. And even if it's not even transitioning us to a different support planner, it could be the barriers of moving to an area that you've never been in before. And like I heard Mr. S say something about transportation being limited in Frederick and things like that, but having to navigate those things and learn a new transportation system or finding transportation all on its own can always be difficult. So I kind of want to piggyback on what Lisa said as well, as thanking support planners and case managers that are there to help and assist with those things and making everyone that moves with the housing programs we have, making them successful. Because without those support planners and case managers, yes, we have housing, we have the programs, but without their help and even without the Department of Health's Marian and Lisa will give you credit too. You guys, because even you guys are helpful with waiver services, and if I need you to step in and look at a plan of service or something that's taking a little bit of time to get approved, I know that I can count on you guys to do that. So I think it is we have a very good team of people. We have a good way of working together to get things done as needed. And we can always come together and figure out how to fix something or make it work better. So we appreciate everybody that is helping in whatever capacity for these programs to continue to be successful. And that's what we need, those partnerships. It's those partnerships being successful. So thank you.
Thank you, Christina. And yeah, I echo your point that, I think the partnership is really important because, just one program or one agency trying to do something can be difficult. But I think that the reason this works so well is because we do have this partnership, and along with our partners at Department of Housing and Community Development, we can really make a difference. And I think we've really heard that today. So I just want to thank everyone again for participating and being partners, and ask if there's any questions that anyone has. I didn't see anything in the chat or the Q&A. And you can always feel free to reach out to us afterwards if you think of something you want to ask. And just as part of our end of our presentation, here's our contact information for myself and Lisa. We're still working from home, as you can probably tell from my background. So it's the best way to reach us is through email, but I've also included our cell phone numbers if something is urgent and you need to reach out to us sooner than that. So thank you. If there's no questions, then I will ask Stephanie Jones, our DDA partner, to give closing remarks.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Awesome. Those were awesome testimonials and stories. So I thank everyone for participating. I want to thank you for attending the 2021 Annual Property Manager and Case Manager meeting. All of the presentations have been recorded and will be uploaded to the MDOD YouTube page. Attendees who registered for the sessions will receive copies of the slides and the link to the recording in the follow-up email. Along with the survey, please complete the survey to provide feedback about what you liked and did not like about the sessions, so we are able to make improvements in the future. We appreciate your participation, and we will see you again next year. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all so much. And we're ending just a few minutes early, but that is okay. We'll give you that back that time in your day.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, everyone.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.